Hey guys, here at Double File, me, Dale, and Caden, we have decided to start off the show talking about Sherry Palex. Um, Tonight, I'm not a Denny Hamlin fan. Caden is not a Kyle Larson fan, and Dale's not a fan of any. We're not fans of any driver. We're NASCAR fans, and NASCAR fans are a part of the NASCAR family. And as you guys know, we lost a member of that NASCAR family this past Sunday in Sherry Palex. Um, it just tragic news. Uh, our thoughts and condolences go out to the Pollock's family, but also to Martin Truex because yes, they were broken up, but I mean he still worked with her. He was still friends with her. They remained friends, and so he's going to have to race with the thought of Sherry in the back of his mind for the next 7 weeks.
It takes me back to the story of 2014 whenever she first got diagnosed and he told her he'd stop racing and she said no.
Yeah. Um,
I remember that.
They were together for a while, so I mean it's not like Truex broke up with her, so he has nothing to do with her anymore, and he's never going to think about her ever again. No, that's not
Yeah.
that's not how human emotion works. I mean that's just not. So
spent every day together for over a decade, been through all of that. So no matter what happens,
and so we here at Double File have decided to come to a 10-second moment of silence in thought of Sherry and the Pollux family. All right.
Be seated.
So with the tragedy of losing Sherry, there has also unfortunately come those who inserted their opinions on the matter.
And by those, we mean one very specific person.
You're gonna know who we're talking about, but we're not gonna mention her name because
I'll give you a hint. She has the body and the sex appeal of a 7-year-old.
Yeah, just absolutely mind-boggling that happened. I mean,
you talk about coming out of left field.
This particular person is kind of known for making things all about herself.
Yeah, one of the most self-absorbed, arrogant, disrespectful pieces of you know what to ever grace stock car racing or any racing in general, came out to the world and announced what a lot of us already knew about her. You know, just exactly what kind of person she is, on top of having no talent and adding no value to a sport whatsoever, setting an entire gender back 50 years with her failure, because now, unfortunately, every woman that comes along is compared to this idiot and have to live with the fact of, oh, I hope she's not another you know who. I hope she's not another idiot driving a green tin car, getting in the way all the time.
Yeah,
she just had to announce to the world just what a real piece of work she is. And you don't like Martin Truex Jr. Well, I've heard his radio transmissions from when he had to race with you. He wasn't a big fan of you either, so I see why it was mutual.
Wait. Let's actually race her at one point. I thought he was way out front of her all the time.
Well, Truex, he lapped her a lot, so he obviously had a lot to say about her.
I mean, what I saw on Monday was one of the most appalling, spineless, cowardly things that I have ever seen on NASCAR on social media.
Somehow the truck did won an IndyCar race.
Fuel mileage didn't count.
Like, this person has been out of NASCAR, out of the sport, for 6 years. Almost 7
and nobody's
now.
missed her.
For good reason.
And nobody's going to want. I hope we hear people in the sport flat say, yeah, the Tony Stewarts of the world, people like that to say, yeah, you're not welcome back here. Go away. We want no part of you in any capacity whatsoever, whether it be in the booth, in the pits. I don't give a damn. Like, we don't want you here. And for the record, I never wanted her here at all because I knew what it meant.
By the way, your mic's a bit shit.
Just a little bit.
My mic's bad?
Oh. Just a little bit. But, I mean, I would like to add that some form of justice has been served. This certain person has been let go by I don't know if it's a broadcasting company, but she has been let go by the company that she formerly worked for.
Sky Sports.
Exactly. Yeah, Sky Sports.
Good on them.
So,
if I'm not slightly better now, or is it still bad? I mean, I really can't do anything about it.
It's better. Yeah.
Okay, I'm plugging back in, kids. The old person troubleshooting trick that fixes all your problems. You unplug it, you plug it back in.
But, I mean...
Unfortunately, I couldn't save Danica's career.
It's no wonder her sponsor...
Bleep that out.
No wonder her sponsor stopped paying for that car. Let's be honest here.
Remember when Nature's Bakery did all they could to get out from under her because they knew what an absolute failure and waste of time she was?
And yet they sponsored her for 2 years. I'm surprised they sponsored her that long.
Oh, they were kicking and screaming towards the end, like, get us out. She sucks. We made a huge mistake.
I mean, it's just nasty. It's just like attention seeking. This person wanted attention, and by God, she found it, but in the worst way she could have.
I guess.
Push a man while he's down.
Honestly, you can bleep this out if you want. Fuck her. She is just absolutely terrible. I don't know how I ever liked her.
For the record, when I first read Truex's statement, and I was like, well, that was kind of bare bones and very generic. And then it hit me. I'm like, Dale Jr. has said over and over with Martin, he does not talk about anything. He will not elaborate on his feelings. He will tell you basically, unless you're close to him, he'll tell you nothing. So to me, it was like, I'm sure Martin didn't want to say anything because he's just Martin Truex Jr. is a very, very private man. And God bless him for it. That's his right, and we respect that immensely, just like I respect him as a person. He's a very, very private man, so my money says he didn't want to say anything. But his PR team was like, we should say something. And he was like, well, just whatever, make a statement, and I'll sign off on it if I like it. They probably wrote up the statement. He signed off on it because he doesn't want to talk about it. He's the kind of guy, he does not want to talk. I wouldn't be surprised if Martin doesn't do any media this weekend.
I wouldn't be.
If he can get away with it. If he could get away with it, he wouldn't say or do anything for a while.
I mean,
because that's just not who he is.
In my opinion, it's not even about getting away with it. This was his romantic partner for a decade and a half.
In the trenches with her, going through hell. He was there every step of the way. So don't think she didn't, don't think this doesn't mean something to him. He's just a very private man. People deal with grief differently, and everybody's different. I'm different. I'm not an overly emotional guy. I probably would say very little, if anything at all, myself.
Right.
Because I know how I am. Like, I don't bury my feelings. Like, I feel my feelings, but I'm not a crier. I'm not an outwardly expressive person.
Exactly.
It's not to say keep it bottled up. I guarantee privately he's confided in a lot of people like Dale Jr., who is one of his best friends, and other people he's close with. And that's all that matters. He's talking to the people that matter to him. He doesn't owe anybody else anything.
And I mean, we don't even know where he was. For all we know, he could have been with the Palex family.
Yeah, he was probably. I don't know. See, it's hard to say, but yeah, I wouldn't have been shocked.
I mean, typically when someone is in a romantic relationship with someone, that their partner's family brings them in. So I mean, not only was he with Sherry for 16 years, he was also essentially part of their family. And so
they would never forget what he did for her. And for Danica to insinuate that he was bad to her, like, kiss my kiss my ass. Like, you don't know a damn thing. That's pretty. Well, yeah, he can beef. I know. You know how hard this is. We're talking about her. It's gonna come out. I mean, yeah. We just had a very funny reason for not wanting to acknowledge her. But how at a time like this to insinuate that and pull that out of your ass is so wrong. And like I said, hopefully everybody in the sport just looks at her and says, "You're not welcome here."
I mean, like, what are you doing? Like, why? Why?
She was never one of us. She never wanted to be one of us. She wanted to be above it all. And unfortunately for her, her immense lack of talent shot that in the face.
Like, this certain driver has one highlight in her whole career, and that was winning the 2013 Daytona 500 pole. That's literally it.
Rigged.
I mean, yeah, you led 11 in the Daytona 500. Good job. You're the first woman to do so. Guess what? We got Hailie Deegan coming up. I mean, in my honest opinion, if Hailie Deegan ever gets into Cup, she's gonna do the same thing. So you're nothing.
There's a fun fact. Martin Truex Jr. has more championships than Danica has career top fives.
Damn it, Dale.
Sorry.
I do not want this person's name on this podcast just because of how appalled we are.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, you guys on YouTube, you got to understand, like, she's not, in my opinion, and here in the opinion of all the hosts here on Double File, we don't ever want to hear from her again.
I took a lot of crap for a lot of years for being hard on her, so I guess I'm just glad I'm validated, even though her performance validated my criticisms.
I knew there was going to be a problem with her and her attitude when she confronted those fans for being fans. That's when I knew there was going to be a problem with her attitude.
Thin skin.
Exactly. I mean, it's thin skin.
I'll never forget that. I was like, way to make it about you, lady.
I mean, you're confronting people for being racing fans and sports fans.
Her Dale Jr. meltdown at Kentucky in 2015, freaking out. He didn't have brakes, you idiot. Like, what the hell? He didn't have brakes. I know she doesn't know that, but did she think he did it on purpose? Like,
get over yourself.
Yeah, or Landon Castle, learn how to wreck someone without wrecking yourself. Like, that was her career in a nutshell.
Pretty much. I mean,
good God, I cringed when I said her because I was afraid I was going to slip up and say her retarded name again. But
like there's
Voldemort.
There's 2021 Rick Ware Racing. That's above this person as far as rolling roadblock. Like 2021 and before Rick Ware Racing.
You know what? She was worse is because a roadblock with speed is 10 times worse. Just look at Ryan Newman. A roadblock with speed is always worse. Well, yeah.
But I don't think we need to spend any more time on this person. She's not worth it. She's not worth all this time.
She's ancient history. She'll probably never be mentioned again on the show because she's not relevant. Just like if we were making this show in 2015, we wouldn't have talked about her then either because she would have never come up because she was so irrelevant behind the wheel.
Or the one highlight from 2015 I can think of is when she damaged her own car because she was getting back at David Ruderman or whoever it was.
Landon Castle. Or was it Martinsville? I remember she had one meltdown at Martinsville.
Yeah, 2015 was at Martinsville.
David Gillen, yeah.
But like this is the last sentence that's going to be said about this person.
Mm-hmm. Moving on.
You're not welcome back. That's all I'm going to say. But this is about Sherry.
We will boo you.
This is about Sherry. This time is about Sherry and Martin. As fans, we just felt like something needed to be said about it. Um, Again, our thoughts and prayers and condolences go out to the Pollex family and Martin Truex. I mean, he's going to be racing with this in his head for the next 6 weeks, for the next 7 weeks.
Going for a championship because that's the kind of driver he is.
Like, I almost want him to win the championship now.
Yeah, wouldn't hurt my feelings. Not going to upset me at all.
I mean, because this was Kevin Harvick's last season, I wanted him to win, but now I want Truex to win. I guess now Harvick won't win the championship anyway. We'll get into that.
Truex got a fire lip under his ass after barely getting through that first round, getting reset and put back at the top of the standings. Yeah, he's going to be in this thing to the bitter end, I promise you.
But anyway, that is, again, we're gonna miss we're gonna miss Sherry, for sure. I mean, she was a warrior among people.
It always brightened my day when I'd turn on the TV and see she was at the track, because that meant she was doing well.
Exactly.
Oh, she's around. Good.
I mean, she didn't just stay home and feel sorry for herself. She was at the racetrack every week.
You talk about, remember when I said Truex had a fire lit under his ass? That whole experience, she became such a public figure after her diagnosis by her own choice. She's like, nope, I'm getting out here and I'm making a difference and I'm living life and I'm not going to mope about it. She's got out there and she made a difference. She impacted a lot of people, left an impression on everybody, including us.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen her at the racetrack many times. Never spoke a word with her, but I've seen her a lot.
I actually got to meet Truex in 2012 at Talladega.
Oh yeah.
And I met her as well. And looking back, I am blessed to have met a person of her stature.
Yeah.
I mean, she put up a fight, and she basically showed people, hey, it's not over until it's over.
Yeah, and it's sad because honestly, you know, this news kind of came out of nowhere. But once again, they're very private people, and she kind of disappeared from public viewing. Yeah, the next thing you know, she's gone. So that's kind of came out of nowhere. I was kind of just hoping she had beat it once and for all. You know, living in ignorance, thinking it was over.
But yeah, that I think it's now time to continue on with the rest of the show. Just one more time, I just want to say that our thoughts and condolences go out to the family.
How about that '88 car on Friday?
Man, he was so good. He was so good.
Remember, I was originally supposed to go to that race. Yeah, I don't even know what the hell caused the fire. I still haven't heard. I'm sure they've talked about it.
I heard him say on the radio that he's on fire. I was thinking that was just typical Dale Jr. Like, oh man, I'm on fire. Let's do this. And then I saw him pull off the track. I'm thinking, oh, he means actual fire.
So there was a fireball on the floorboard.
Yeah, but it burned his right ankle, I think.
Did any of us even watch trucks? Yay or nay? Football's on, so you know.
I mean, no, not really. I mean,
this time of year, football competes heavily with my NASCAR fandom, but they coexist on Sunday, so I make it work.
I don't know when the next truck race is. I know they race at Talladega in a couple weekends. Actually, no.
I think that's the one.
No, next week. Oh my goodness, next weekend.
I bet Talladega's next week. Yeah.
Oh, dude, how is Talladega? How is the playoff Talladega race already 1 week away, dude? Oh my goodness, time needs to chill
so
out.
So who won the truck race? Eckes won the truck race.
Corey Haim.
Corey Haim.
So, I think he already had a win. to no last week. Yeah, last week at Kansas was the end of round one in the playoffs in Truck Series. So Corey Heim on to the championship four.
He's had a great year. He deserves it. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Pocono choke job aside, I really like the guy.
Oh, that's just because he's going up against Kyle Busch. So
Oh yeah.
Speaking of trucks, Matty D out early. Very
AKA the male version of who we were talking about earlier.
I mean, yeah.
He's got a modicum of talent.
I tell you what, I mean, I was happy to see Denny win in person at Talladega in 2020, but I was also thinking, oh man, dude, you already stole one from him. How you gonna do it twice?
Brian Newman is a supervillain of Matty D's origin story, but
well,
there's shady circumstances to it, in my opinion. Like, it just seems very shady. Can't figure it out.
There's some theories out there for why this has happened, and why he wasn't able to finish the season at least.
The world may never know.
No, the world may never know, but apparently people think they do.
Everybody thinks they know. Nobody in NASCAR can keep a secret.
I think there's theories out there saying that Rackley is moving Matty D out to bring Gregson in.
They're made for each other. A mediocre team for a mediocre driver. I say go for it.
I mean, he's been reinstated, so it's possible now.
Yeah, go to the Truck Series, bum, and fail to win in that 25 because Matty D's a better driver than Noah, and he couldn't get it done.
Well, Noah never got anything done in KBM equipment either.
No, seriously, that was the first red flag of this guy. Ain't nothing, dude. If you can't do well in a KBM truck, you will not make it. You will not. See also Brandon Jones and did Harrison Burton ever drive one of his trucks part time? I don't think he did.
I think he did.
Oh, he did. There you go. If you can't make it in a KBM truck, you will not make it at all.
I don't know. I think Christopher Bell drove for KBM though, and William Byron did. So
yeah, he's a rare exception.
Yeah,
because he was actually good in it.
Yeah, for sure. Caden, anything you want to add on this Matty D topic? Okay. So Zane Smith is going to Spire.
Daniel Suarez, beware. I know who's going to take your ride in a couple of years, or next year, or the year after, excuse me. That's my...
I don't know what... Have they released a number that he's going to drive?
No, but have you heard about how Spire and Trackhouse are teaming up?
Yes.
Trackhouse is so big now that they're going to have a satellite team. And I'm like, that's great. And I'm like, Suarez, brother, I hate to say it, but if you don't do something next year, Zane Smith's taking that ride.
Well, see, I bring up the number because, I mean, the fact that they haven't brought out a number yet makes me wonder if they might go to 78 and bring that car number back. Because I mean, the Spire acquired
the fast charter. Yeah.
Yeah, so bring the 78 back over, and in that font.
I figure you just get everything.
That font, the font, the number font that Spire uses looks very similar to Furniture Row. So, come Darlington throwback race time, Zane Smith maybe can throw it back to Regan Smith.
Off topic, but you're just reminding me of how bad Truex's crappy throwback cars are because Auto Trader or whatever, what's it? Not Auto Trader, Auto Owner doesn't want to do cool paint schemes, and his throwbacks always sucked.
Yeah. But that's not his fault. That's the design department's doing. Let's see, Zane to spot.
They're part time, yeah. With Fast, they're going to do part time select races.
Yeah, I think they need to do a Darlington throwback. I think they need to be in the '78 and bring it back and do a throwback to Regan Smith, or they could do a throwback to Truex, the championship car.
Yeah. Options are there, even though I feel like throwback weekend's about to go the way of the dodo. It's probably not long for this world.
Well, I mean, how many throwbacks can you do without doing?
Yeah, I mean, they repeat a bunch, and they repeat good ones. Don't get me wrong, but probably run its course.
I mean, how many times did we see the Rainbow Warrior car?
How many times did we see the freaking Bobby Allison Coca-Cola car? How many times did we see Dale Earnhardt Wrangler car? How many times did we see the same Richard Petty car? Like,
yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Dale. I think it might be. It doesn't have many more years. I don't think.
Unless they switch it to North Wilkesboro, which to me makes more sense.
See, I think what they should have done was they should have gone back decades. Like decades.
They tried that and people still ignored it anyway, just because their sponsor would only give them certain options. So like, oh crap, let's do this throwback then. Remember, they were trying to do it like that.
Yeah, but I mean, sponsors will be sponsors. Very difficult to work with sometimes. Now, obviously, if a sponsor wants to sponsor this show, I mean, they probably don't right now. But I mean,
you could reach your brand out to dozens and dozens of people.
Yeah. Raid Shadow Legends.
Sponsor this now.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow Legends. I heard to talk to you about DraftKings.
Oh Lord! I just threw my notepad.
In Indiana.
Now I gotta get it.
Yeah. What's next on the agenda?
Dale Jr. caught on fire, dude. I was heartbroken at that. I did not.
I was heartbroken, but I was like, really, man? Like, come on. Then I was just like, well, at least I didn't go like I was originally planning.
That pretty much summed up his last couple years. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen to Dale Jr.
And I can't figure out why.
I mean, bad luck birds, I guess. On to Cup. I'm going to let you take this one, Dale. You're going to be the one talking about it. Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace advances to the round of 12.
Hold on. Can you hear Caden, Cowboy?
No, I cannot.
You guys were kind of talking over each other, and I was like, I don't think Cowboy can hear Caden. Because one of you started talking about. We're having audio issues here. He can't hear one of the co-hosts.
Can you hear him?
I can hear Caden just fine, yeah.
Uh-oh. Hang on, we will
That's bizarre.
We're just having some technical difficulties. Hold on. Caden.
I'd go for it.
Caden.
He's going to get on his other account and call in. Maybe that'll help.
Maybe. I mean, that'd be phenomenal.
But I could hear him just fine, so it was really weird. Nope. Yeah. So anyway, what's the deal with airline food?
Caden. Our audience is waiting.
Well, we're waiting.
Oh, man. And it's weird because I could hear him earlier. You okay?
Can you hear him now?
No, I cannot.
He still can't hear you, Caden.
What's he using to talk?
He said you should leave and rejoin the call, Cowboy.
I should leave. Oh, okay. I see how it is.
Yeah, get out. You stupid dumb animal.
Well, all right. I'll disconnect and join back.
So anyway, Xfinity race.
Allgaier and Hemrick had a hell of a battle going.
Hey, I hear
So how
Kate
about
now.
everybody at JRM getting screwed except Allgaier for a change?
So, anyway, back to
Yep.
your regularly scheduled program.
And then the Childress cars wrecked each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Children's cars, the JRM having issues.
What a dysfunctional teams.
It's just short track racing. Don't worry about it. So,
Bad one.
I'm going to let Dale take the lead on this one. On this topic. Bubba Wallace advances to the round of 12 after coming in 19 points below the cutoff line.
So, of course, the excuses started rolling in. He Joey wrecked. Well, actually, he had Truex beat, so it was Truex that would have been eliminated if Joey had not wrecked. So, there goes that excuse. Oh, he just wrecked into it. But didn't say anything about Truex literally lucking into it because they won't acknowledge that Bubba was the fastest car at Kansas running second when the right rear tire blew out and screwed his race up there. So he finished seventh at Darlington, had a top three car at Kansas, got screwed, and yeah, they underperformed at Bristol and still made it. Overcame the second largest deficit in the first round of the playoffs in the final race in history to make it.
Could it be because he's a good driver?
Could it be because I called from the start that, yeah, he's good at Darlington, he's good at Kansas, and Bristol's good for him. He'll make it.
Well, apparently he's good at the Roval. I found that out recently. That's his like.
He's been a lot better. Go back and look at his finishes at Watkins Glen this year. And yeah, Indy Road Course like over a year ago, he ran really well. So he can do it. We know 2311 is going to be really good at Texas. We know Bubba's going to be the best one of the Toyotas at Talladega. So who's to say he doesn't make another round that people just seem to be in denial that he has a chance to make? But I'm like, dude, I'm telling you right now.
I'm going to start streaming. Yeah, Dale, we should start co-streaming the reaction from social media if Bubba keeps advancing. Hell, if he wins the championship, we need to be all over that.
People got real quiet on certain posts I had been on some mutual friends that don't even watch NASCAR. They just talk shit about Bubba. And I kept telling them, I was like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. He's got a strong shot at making it. Well, guess what? He did. So much for... No, he made it. So...
Your microphone,
deal with it.
Your microphone literally just censored you itself. Like Caden, did you hear Dale say that?
Barely. It was all distorted.
I was about to say, Dale, I'm pretty sure your microphone censored you.
No good.
I don't have to.
What?
Speaking of idiots, it's my turn to take the lead on a certain 42 car.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Oh, yeah. Talk about that. Preach.
Let's talk about how in his fourth start, Carson Hocevar, a truck guy, has done more than Noah Gragson has done this season. I still see people defending Gragson. I saw one guy saying, oh, Gragson still has a lot to prove. No. Hocevar still has a lot to prove. Oh, and Gragson doesn't. You know what he proved? He proved he can hit the same wall 3 times in the exact same spot in one race. So, and Carson Hocevar proved that he can take this apparently bad equipment and put it damn near in the top 10. So, where are the excuses? Your excuses run out, and yet you still defend this guy. Why? Because he drove for Junior?
Moving post is a common theme with a certain subsection of NASCAR fans. They all tend to like Noah and hate Bubba. Go figure. Makes the championship through. That's what they're saying now because they're so scared. They are scared now because they see the round of 12 and they're like, oh my God, Bubba's going to make it. And then the Hocevar thing, it's like they're crapping their pants over that too. Oh, he's still got a lot to prove. He might have a lot to prove, but he's shown me that, hey, this guy can do it. Because number one, unlike Noah, my favorite thing about Hocevar is his ability to learn and adapt, learn from his mistakes and be better. When's the last time Hocevar did something stupid?
Martinsville this year.
All he's doing is getting better and smarter.
Yeah. And
his talent is unreal. His racecraft is unreal. He ran comfortably in the top 10 on a night where only about 12 cars finished on the lead lap for the entire race. Yeah, he was like fifth. He outran the 43 even before the 43 had problems. Hocevar in the 42 was outrunning them.
The same idiot who said he had a lot to prove. Let me just say this: they questioned if they were doing something differently with when Gragson was in the car. Yeah, they were doing something differently. They were doing something differently, actually. I can tell you what. You know what they were doing differently? Take a guess.
Not finishing every week. That's what they were doing differently.
Well, close. They were spending money fixing the damage Gragson had done to their car.
Your car can't get better.
So when a car wrecks every weekend, that tends to tank the budget a lot.
And it hurts your inventory of cars. So instead of working on the cars you got and making them better, you've got to fix the old car and just get it to the racetrack without really getting it better.
And then they went and assumed that I said Gragson was getting the bad equipment. No!
There's no such thing as bad equipment. Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch put that narrative to bed when they talked about Kyle's time at JGR last year. Kyle was getting the bad equipment. No, he's not. They were literally all driving the same cars out of the same pool of cars. Denny talked about, he's like, 1 week I could be driving an 18 car from like the week before. We were driving all the same stuff.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as bad equipment anymore. If you're on a team with a guy who's doing well, there's a problem. Now, it could be crew chief, could be set up, but no, you see how good the 42 car's running. It's the driver.
Yeah, maybe.
It is not a coincidence. Oh, man, Legacy Motor Club really turned a corner. Yeah, it's funny how they instantly started doing better when they got Noah out and were actually having their cars get to the track every week.
It's not an equipment issue. It's a skill issue.
It's a hashtag skill issue. So yeah, it's not a coincidence.
Hey, Dale.
Where there's fire.
Hey, Dale.
Yes.
Whatever you're doing, I highly suggest you don't do it again.
How about now?
Your mic is being uncooperative.
I literally did the entire podcast like this last week, and all of a sudden it's a problem, but it's okay.
Like your mic is not having it. It's not going to let you speak your opinion.
Well, I unplugged it. How's it sound now?
It sounds
better.
It sounds better until
it's not blowing my ears out.
I think it sounds good until you kind of raise your voice and get really excited about it.
Okay, I'll stay low.
I still.
But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
No regrets. Moral of the story is put better drivers in your car. I don't care how much it costs. Praise Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
Well, not really, because he employed Danica for several years.
Who?
Well,
Who?
Sorry. I fucked it. I'm sorry.
Name rings a bell.
Who's that again? Wait.
Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
Wait, is that some kind of failed F1 driver?
Is that some kind of cereal?
Wait a minute.
What's her favorite cereal? Total.
Wait a minute. Did she run in the back in the Formula W series one time?
what are y'all talking about?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait. She,
This is the rambling on about nonsense part of the show, everybody.
Pretty much, dude. The race was Saturday, and I'm tired and delirious. I can't formulate
This is totally not hiding any botches. Totally not.
So let's go ahead and move on. Logano is eliminated after getting caught up in a wreck started by Corey LaJoie.
Now, can I bring this back to the Bubba thing for a second? He only made it because Joey wrecked. Joey was literally running 30th before that crash.
Yeah.
Literally. Bubba was lead lap, top 15 the entire race. Joey was 30th. But, it's only because of the crash.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
sure.
Bubba totally wouldn't have made it anyway.
Yeah, he totally didn't have Joey beat by literally 2 laps in about 20 spots.
So, Logano, and unfortunately as it is, I mean, I hate it for Kevin. I hate that he had a bad
Yeah,
night.
I'm not surprised. And his reaction, he'd been kind of underplaying that, it's not that big of a deal. We know what we've got. Hopefully, we'll show up and we'll improve. We really don't care. And then he got eliminated. You could see the rage in Harvick's eyes. Like, he was mad because said he was mad because he just felt like they never even had a chance. From the moment the green flag dropped, they were terrible. Like, not they. And I say, congratulations, Kevin. You now know what it's like to drop the 14 car. You got the 2023 Stuart Haas experience. For the first time this season, you guys were flat out awful. Now, Joey getting eliminated is a genuine shock. That'll go down to me.
Not to me. You remember my picks.
I don't care what anybody says. That's one of the biggest first round elimination upsets ever. It is. The defending champion gone. Like, you just expect, no matter how mid that team's been all year, they will find a way to nickel and dime their way through the playoffs and be a threat to make the Final Four, even though I didn't think they were going to make it this time. But to be gone first round, Denny said on his show, he was like, I was glad because I know what they're capable of.
Well, I got Logano and Stenhouse going out, right?
Yeah, I got Stenhouse and McDowell going out, right? That's what I got.
I think I have it right. I don't know. I gotta find my paper.
My Final Four is still.
I think I called Stenhouse and McDowell were correct.
The only Truex on this cost me my Final Four prediction in the first round.
But man, I mean, it's like Joey, like on odd number years, he's just out of it. But on even number years, he's on his game.
Well, unless that odd number year ends with a 5.
Well, I mean.
Well, in that case, he's just going to get dumped by somebody.
Yeah, probably at Martinsville.
Oh, 2025, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be a fun year.
Yeah. Matt Kenseth's going to come back. Christopher Bell's not going to be able to race for a year, and they're going to bring Kenseth back in the 20.
Hey, Logano! Remember me, bitch!
Completely uncensored.
This is Steve Austin Unleashed.
So on to the part that I am happy about. Denny Hamlin finally gets his round 1 win. I mean, he's had it coming for 2 weeks.
Should have won all 3. Like, let's be honest, it's not even close.
I mean,
nobody even remotely came close to his speed. Not even close, except Larson. Larson was the only other car through these first 3 races, even in the same zip code as Denny Hamlin. Everybody else just got lucky that he had problems.
Yeah, I mean, for Kyle Petty, I don't know what beef Kyle and Denny have. Kyle Petty,
that goes way back. That goes way back.
But I mean, for Kyle Petty to say something positive about Denny's doing something right.
Yeah, that's like the Kyle Petty Denny beat dates about 15, 16 years back.
Like 2007, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Denny wins. I mean, his post-race interview will probably go down on the Bristol highlight reel every time they come to the racetrack.
I was actually worried for his safety because I'm like, Denny, you're parked awfully close to the fence. And then sure enough, somebody threw a cucumber at him. And I was thinking about out at Pocono this year, he parked at the pit wall so they couldn't get him. And at Bristol, he's like right at the start of his line. I'm like, oh, Denny, you should be.
We ain't got much of a place to park at Bristol.
That's true. And honestly, the funniest thing about that whole thing is that nobody had any reason to be mad at him whatsoever.
Right? I mean, I think this was Denny's cleanest win this year.
Yeah, for once he won without wrecking anybody.
At Kyle Larson.
Larson was in the vicinity, so I was worried it was going to happen again.
Yeah, how about that cucumber, though?
Yeah, the cucumber was weird. Who brings a whole Probably was that same guy, that same family from Darlington, even though the dad was a Denny fan. He brought an entire kitchen. Remember I told you about the guy at Darlington?
Yeah.
I heard something about the cucumber having a condom on it or something.
Yep. It really puts
Why?
It really puts the second syllable in that word.
Why?
What were you expecting, Kelly? Condoms?
First of all, like, what's the point of that? First of all, like, where do you even put that on? You just put it on in front of the fans, or you have the decency to go put it on.
How much you want to bet the guy that brought the condoms to the racetrack was hanging out with his cousin? Because I've been at Bristol.
I mean, I don't know, maybe.
Let me just go ahead and take this moment on this podcast to tell you two things. There's two crowds of people I don't like. Atlanta Motor Speedway crowd and Bristol Motor Speedway crowd is second on the list. You people suck.
He came straight out and said, "You people suck."
Yeah, like those are the one. Darlington, wonderful people. Charlotte, great, wonderful, diverse crowd. New Hampshire, great crowd. Martinsville, great crowd. The only problems I've ever seen, Bristol and Atlanta.
Talladega is pretty dope. I mean, that crowd's pretty chill.
I'll be the judge of that one of these days.
I take that back. They're pretty chill up until a driver that they don't like wins the race and beats Dale Jr.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say beer can. Then that one time Junior told him, he said, look, if you're going to throw anything, throw toilet paper, because Junior's exact quote was, nobody's ever had to go to the hospital after getting hit with a roll of toilet paper, so just throw toilet paper.
If I ever get hit in the face with toilet paper, I'm just going to retire right then. Right there. Like right on the spot. Like I'm going to say, all right, I'm out. Screw it.
Not just don't throw anything on the racetrack.
Yeah, that's true. You just shouldn't throw anything. In the words of the great Bob Jenkins, anyone who comes to the racetrack and throws something is not a race fan, they're a race idiot.
Where's Brett Griffin when you need him?
I never need him. I know what I need him to do, but I can't say that on the air.
Nope. Don't say it. Don't you do it. But yeah, Denny wins at Bristol, so he was already advanced. So Denny, William Byron, I think both RFK drivers clinched their spot in the clinched their spot in the round of 12 before the checkered flag.
Yes. Well, Brad did. Busher didn't, but Brad, Byron, Hamlin, yeah.
Well, Busher was up there as well. I mean, he might have been a few points behind Brad.
He was behind Brad because Busher had the bad finish at Kansas, I think. Was it Kansas where he finished bad? I can't remember.
I think Darlington.
Watch Brad end up winning the championship from out of nowhere.
Wouldn't surprise me.
By the way, just to note, 4 of RFK's wins come from Chris Busher. Just saying.
Brad's yet to win. His time's coming.
No,
Talladega's coming.
No, Brad has not won in the 6 car yet, which is very shocking because I mean he's been competitive.
He's there. Top 5. You run top 5, you're going to be in the position. Even if you're not necessarily a winning car, you get to that top 5, a guy makes a mistake, you're there.
I mean, he could have won at Daytona, but he just decided to push his teammate.
Well, see, if he doesn't push Busher, then Chase Elliott.
Neither of them win.
If he doesn't push the 17, Chase Elliott wins that race.
Oh man, Chase was. When you look back now, Chase was agonizingly close. When you look at Indianapolis and Daytona, it's like, man, so close.
And lost out to McDowell.
Well, how about speaking of McDowell, the effort. They came in 40 out, and at one point in the race, as Crucci was saying, hey, if we do this, we can pull our way in. And I was like, wow, how did they get to the point from 40 out where they can point their way in? It wasn't even a problem. It was just like, yeah, just gain a few more spots, and we're like right there.
And McDowell went out swinging. Front row is going to be competitive next year. I'm calling my shot. They're going to be competitive.
Second best Cup race of McDowell's career to his Indianapolis win.
Oh, yeah.
Even beating the 500 win?
The 500 was a fluke. The 500 was total fluke. I'm saying, like, by driving talent, racecraft, this was his second best race ever.
Oh, yeah.
I could kind of see it. I could kind of see McDowell pulling off a Truex championship at some point in the future.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's around.
Maybe, because
Come on, don't act like it ain't possible.
Because Furniture Row
They're
was.
not there yet, but they can get there.
Yeah, Furniture Row wasn't even competitive in 2012, I don't think.
Dude, they were so bad for so long.
And then
They made
And now all of a sudden they're like making a trend towards being pretty decent.
And they made the Final Four before the Toyota Alliance. Let's remember that.
Wait, what?
They did.
Didn't they make the Final Four in 15?
I don't think.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Did
Well,
they really?
you're thinking Furniture Row. This is Front Row. We're talking about
I was
Front
talking
Row.
about Furniture Row because Cowboy
Oh,
brought it
well, I
up.
was still talking about Front Row because we were talking about Michael. How did you start talking about Furniture Row when we're talking about Michael?
Cowboy!
What?
Why did you say Furniture Row? You confused me.
I was talking about how Furniture Row wasn't even a force to be reckoned with in 2012.
And then, like...
You're the one that said something about the Final Four before the Toyota Alliance.
Yeah,
You guys are both absolutely confused. We were talking about Front Row and McDowell, and he said, I think he can win a Truex style championship. And then somehow, I guess that triggered you to talk about how Furniture Row was before they made the Final Four in 15.
Well, see, I was trying to compare early 2010s Furniture Row to Front Row.
This is why they should have picked a different name for their damn team because we get confused.
Holy crap. I mean, just think about
Also,
that.
why did they ever come up Front Row anyway, since they, up until this point, were never anywhere near it?
False advertising.
Maybe they thought Joe Nemechek was going to qualify their cars every week, and then that deal must have fell through.
False advertisement.
Live fast. I mean, that's another one. How come all the bad teams have funny names like that? Where it's like, oh man, we're a race team, we start fast, and it's the slowest.
If you don't have a person's name in your racing team, then you might as well just forget about it.
We're super fast car motorsports. Oh man, we didn't make the race 3 weeks in a row.
Hey, we're super fast. We go higher than 5 miles per hour. So let's do it, man.
Quick, get me Timmy Hill to drive my car, or I'm going to go out of business.
Oh gosh. Timmy Hill is.
Where's David Starr when you need him?
Timmy
Hill. David Starr's won more truck races than Noah Gragson.
Oh man. So on to Texas. Yeah. I am not looking forward to this race.
It's shorter. It's 1.5 miles. It might be good, and it's shorter. So they got a new tire.
It might be good about a year ago,
Texas.
Shorter race, more urgent, more. And honestly, I will say this right now, and I say it every year. Texas, this race this weekend is the most important race of the playoffs.
Maybe.
Because if you suck there, oh boy, I get to put all my hopes and dreams on making it through Talladega. So you better be good at Texas. Texas is the most important race in the playoffs.
Texas and not saying it's
good. Yeah, not saying it's good. I'm just saying.
You know what the most important race of the playoffs is?
What?
Martinsville.
I'll be there. That's the plan right now.
I think Martinsville is the most important race because, I mean, we saw what happened last year. Hamlin was in coming off turn 4 and then...
I was on the Kiss cruise during that, and I asked this girl I know, she had bought the crappy internet package. I said, can I use her internet to go to NASCAR.com and see what happens? She goes, sure. I click it. I go there, and I'm like, whoa. I was like, holy did that happen? I was like, is this real? Like, are they serious?
I'll be honest, I was not happy.
Amazement. I was stunned. And I didn't even have the full context of, oh, by the way, that knocked Denny Hamlin out. I just saw the clip of him grinding the wall.
Too damn bad, Cowboy. Horn of failure for losing to a wall ride.
Well, that's okay. Chastain's not going to make it out of this round this year anyway, so...
Yeah, something's just off about Ross.
He's had one top 5 since Nashville. Actually, worse than that. He's had one top 10 since Nashville.
He's been off his game since Justin Marks had to tear into him about wrecking Larson at Darlington.
And he's staying out of the headlines, which is the really scary part.
I mean, I don't know what's going on with Ross. I mean,
But then again, in a few weeks, he's probably going to, or in a couple of weeks, he knows he's probably going to be facing elimination. So who knows what he'll do? He'll probably come screaming back with a vengeance to make everybody mad and steal some headlines.
He'll probably jump over the chicane using the curbs.
Yeah.
What he'll do is he'll accidentally get spun off the front bumper of the car behind him coming to the checkered, and NASCAR will give it to him because he was wrecking and he didn't cut the corner technically. But somehow he'll still be able to keep up speed and cross the stripe and get in by like a point or two.
He'll knock out Denny Hamlin.
I mean, he's gonna have to do. Someone's gonna have to stop Hamlin for sure, or he's gonna get to Phoenix.
Yeah, they've got the speed. I think it's funny. I'm going to be honest with you. The best cars right now are Hamlin and Reddick, followed by Larson very closely. I'd say Hamlin, Reddick, Larson. Maybe Hamlin, Larson, Reddick. We'll put it like that.
Now, if you're Reddick, would you do something to your team owner for the championship? I would.
Well, I mean, if Kyle Busch would wreck his own mother for the championship, then I guess, yeah. Wasn't it Kyle Busch that said that?
Tony Stewart and Kyle Busch. I think Tony Stewart's the first one who said that. I had a dream about smoke the other night. I woke up. What was that? I had a dream I was learning how to drive race cars, and Tony Stewart was teaching me.
I was meaning to ask you about that. What happened?
I don't know. You know how you don't remember everything about a dream? I just remember going to like some crappy track in South Carolina. And in my dream, it made sense, even though the track doesn't exist. I can't remember what the name of it was, but Tony Stewart was teaching me how to drive race cars. And then I woke up and was like, well, that was random. It wasn't even like a remarkable dream other than Tony Stewart was teaching how to drive. I'm like, why Tony Stewart? I wasn't even thinking about Tony.
Do you even remember what the track looked like?
It was a short track with a weird shape.
Nazareth.
It was similar to Nazareth. I swear to you. This was my dream. And it was in South Carolina. Oh, I don't know.
You're out there, Dale. You're out there.
Mm-hmm. My dreams don't always make sense. I'm pretty good at analyzing dreams and figuring out why I dreamed a certain thing or what it could mean to me. I'm very good at that. That dream, I got nothing.
Dreams
just hanging out in the store driving cars.
The only times my dreams serve me any purpose is when they give me when they give me ideas for writing. What's up?
Yeah.
My dreams are completely random. This is the Dream Talk episode, part of the episode.
I had a dream once that I can't say her name. I had a dream in like 2013, the day before the Daytona 500, that she won Dover. And I remember in my dream being like, oh, God, we'll never hear the end of this crap. We're going to have to hear about this for the rest of our friggin' lives. And I woke up and was like, oh, thank God it was a dream. She won Dover in my dream. And it was like some kind of bull crap. You know, it was like realistic enough to where it was like lame strategy or whatever. And it was so real. It was like a real Dover race. And it had like the Fox was broadcasting it. And I'm just sitting there going, dang it. I was like, I hate this because we're never going to hear the end of this.
Man, imagine if she had actually ever won a race. That would have been the worst.
God.
Her
thankfully, thankfully, with the current context, thankfully she wasn't close, ever.
Correct.
The closest that, you know what, never mind. I don't want to talk about her. I'm still disgusted. Moving on. So, Texas. Everything's bigger than in Texas, but also
get a dog, little Woggy. Get a dog, little Woggy.
Everything is bigger in Texas, but at the same time, shoes from Texas are dumb.
It's okay. Football's on, so if the race sucks, I'll just watch the Falcons go 3-0. Hopefully.
What did you say?
So who? Let's see here. Who do I want to go first? Caden. I'll let Caden go. Who you got? Who's winning?
With that horrible track, that's a hard one.
I mean, remember, Blaney is is the only driver that's won twice there in this car.
I kind of want to say maybe a Larson or Reddick win.
Let me put some context on what I just said. Well, Blaney is the only one that won twice there in the next gen car, the same race.
I'll tell you who's going to win.
Talking about the All-Star race last year.
Well, I'll tell you who's going to win. I'll give you a hint. His career started on a computer.
Oh. A pick for Byron.
Really? William Byron will win Texas. Just like I told you Reddick would win Kansas.
So, who did you pick, Caden? Larson?
Yeah, we'll go Larson.
You homer. Oh.
He's just been so good at that kind of speedway.
You know, I think Reddick wins.
That's a good call. They're fast, and he won there last year.
Yeah.
That would be my second call.
What if old Kyle Busch sneaks up on him and wins, since we know that 8 car is so good there? And everywhere Reddick was good last year, Kyle Busch has been good this year.
Yeah. I mean,
he's still in the thing. Like, you know, Kyle had a very unremarkable, underwhelming first round, but he's still in the thing. He's still there. You never know.
Yeah, he's in the play. He's still in the playoffs. He's not one of the 4 that got eliminated. So he is still in there. So he could possibly win. But I think Tyler Reddick is going to do it again.
Tyler Reddick, baby! It's like Dick Vitale right now, the way he's talking. I think Tyler Reddick, baby!
Although I kind of do want Bubba to win. Yeah. To be completely honest. You know why? Anyway, yeah, are we still doing the "What are you doing" segment? Can I open us?
Yeah. Hey, hold on. Time for "What are you doing?"
God damn it! That was my intro.
I'm the host here. I segment into the segments.
But that was my special segment.
No. Anyway, go ahead. Carry on. Continue.
What did you say?
Go!
Bale. Oh, okay. My pick goes to Richard Childress Racing in the Xfinity Series.
Solid pick.
Nice.
They wrecked each other. I thought JRM was the dysfunctional team this season. Apparently not.
Just any Chevrolet team. Any Chevrolet
I don't even really think I have one for this week. Except maybe Josh Berry for bodying Mayer on the front stretch, cutting his own tire, and then killing him in the next corner.
I mean, I don't know. I thought I saw Mayer kind of come down a little bit. I might not.
Maybe he did.
If any of us watch trucks, we could probably look in there for something.
Nah.
Look.
Fuck trucks.
Truck series is worth watching.
So,
could we give it to the lap trucks for costing Eckes the win?
Nah. They're all a bunch of idiots. I mean, face it, it's the truck series. They're all idiots. They all don't know what they're doing.
No, the big idiots of the league are all the people that told me that Bubba had no chance at making it through the playoffs.
You want to try?
But I actually watched the sport, so I know.
You want to try your catchphrase one more time, Dale?
Which catchphrase?
Your catchphrase.
I got a catchphrase?
I mean, you're the only one that's really ever said it. When we talk about Bubba.
Oh, last one in, first one out.
Man, it was a little bit clearer that time. Maybe my mic picked it up. So my my idiot of the week, other than the obvious, I mean, let's face it, is gonna have to go to the guy that brought the cucumber and threw it. I mean,
Yeah. At
it's
least it
one.
wasn't a zucchini. It
It's
really hurt somebody if it was zucchini.
it's one thing to bring a cucumber and throw it at a driver. It's another thing to throw it and the catch fence catch it and it barely make it onto the track. Like, did you
Couldn't
ever
even
did,
throw
did
it at him
She
right.
is not.
did either of you ever see the video? Like, they have a video of the cucumber.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I'd like to blow the horn of failure for that guy.
Go for it. You know, that is not what I thought you were gonna play. I thought you were gonna play like the sad trombone thing or something like that.
It'd be too obvious. Besides, it's more fun to mash this.
All right then. So yeah, the guy that threw a cucumber at Denny Hamlin in a condom, and you failed miserably because you threw it at the catch fence. You're an idiot. So,
At least it gave us a funny moment.
nah, that was not funny. I did not appreciate that. But I mean, at the same time though, he don't give a damn what I think.
It was funny because of how bad it was.
No, you probably think it's funny because of who he was throwing the cucumber at. You asshole.
I just think the failure is funny.
I think you're
You
funny.
probably don't like it because of who it was thrown
Shout
at.
out to NBC for trying to fish. Does anybody fish for drama more than the NBC pit reporters? I think they're coached on it because they are good at trying to get drama started. Because as soon as Denny said, "I beat your favorite driver," and who was that? And Hamlin quickly just goes, "All of them."
Does that mean Hamlin beat himself? Does that mean Hamlin beat himself too? For those who have him as his favorite driver,
I mean,
he does know a thing about doing that.
NBC, man, they're always fishing.
This is the best
That's
Denny
why they
Hamlin
don't
part
like
of this segment.
That's why their interviews never end. That's why they keep trying to drag interviews out and get stuff out of them. Have you noticed that? Like when it's like clearly interview over, they keep going.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I would prefer that. I'm about to sneeze my nose off. I prefer dragging out an interview than the race ends and then the broadcast ends and we don't get an interview.
Well, yeah, but there's just a certain point where the interview is clearly done and the guy's done.
I tell you what. I prefer they drag out the interview and ruin someone's career because they misheard the crowd.
We won't.
So in WWE news today, they released a lot of people on it.
But man, love him or hate him, you gotta respect Denny Hamlin. He knows how to be a villain.
Not so much a villain. I hate when people say he's a villain. He's not really a villain. I mean, he's just an unlikable person. You know, like he's not. He never even tried to be a villain. Now he's like embracing it, but before it's like, nah, you've been put in this role because you're just not a likable person.
I mean, Kyle Busch did it better, I guess.
Yeah, because Kyle was like, okay, I got this, but then he was like, no, love me, and people didn't. So now he's just gotten used to the fact and gets a kick out of it, which is what I would do. Get a kick out of it. People don't like you or whatever. It's funny.
That dude went on his podcast and said, I love talking shit to people.
And then you can have Brad Keselowski call you an ass.
Driver of the Penske Racing Dodge, Kyle Busch is an ass.
Brad Keselowski, driver of the Roush Racing Ford, Denny Hamlin is an ass.
I hope before the year that Kyle or Brad retires, I hope they bring that back for Bristol. Just have him come out and say Kyle's an ass again.
Someone get at them for that.
What did you think of Brad Keselowski's pre-race quotes? Who? That was funny.
Oh, man.
Talking about Kyle Busch's remarks after the race.
Yeah.
I saw it. but I passed it. Kyle Busch is a funny character. Like, I mean, I miss heel Kyle.
I like Face Kyle though.
I don't know. I mean, it's like, hey,
He drives Chevrolet. I like him now.
that's what
like
that's what I was
he-
about to say. I mean, he just goes to a Chevrolet, and now he's automatically he's the
If
next
Denny Hamlin ever goes to a Chevrolet, he'll be the lovable old guy. So
Oh no, I'll still hate him.
Well, he'll probably still not know who you are.
Oh no, I'm so hurt.
Denny, acknowledge me.
at at a lot of Hendrick fans. This is the fan base bashing segment of the show now, I guess.
We haven't talked about how stupid Chase Elliott fans are because they haven't had anything to talk about.
No, I
Chase
swear
Elliott.
though, I swear, a lot of Elliot's haters are just as bad.
Oh yeah.
Just as bad, sometimes even worse, if I'm being honest.
To each his own. I really don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just happy when Denny does good, and I stick with Denny when he don't do that great. At Darlington.
Well, until you lived 2009 as a Dale Jr. fan, you don't know shit.
Trust me, I was a fan. I actually started watching NASCAR in 2009, and I decided to pick Dale Jr. because, hey man, I mean, I like your car, let's do it. And then he sucked that whole year. I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, go get him next year, Tiger.
Was on a 4-year losing streak.
Yeah. 2009, 2010, and 2011 were not that great. And then he finally got that win in 2012. I'm thinking, yeah. And I was. And
What
I
about
thought,
the close calls in 2011? Should have won Martinsville. Should have won Charlotte. Brad didn't run out of gas at Kansas. Boom, that's 3 in 2011 right there. He should have had.
Well, he didn't.
2012 Spring Pocono. They added a lap of caution. Oh, Julie Gunner, Mark Martin, those guys make it on gas. Junior was going to win, but because we added a lap of caution, they made it. Then he wins Michigan the next week. Then they go back to the second Pocono race. He's dominating. Oh, transmission broke.
The luck of Dale Jr.
Yeah. So Junior could have won back-to-back and swept Pocono in 2012.
You know a track that he really should have swept? I mean, in my opinion,
Where?
Talladega in 2015.
Yeah.
That was a hard one. That was a hard pill to swallow, that race.
Hard season for everybody that cared.
And again,
about
I hear 2015 as a whole was a hard year to swallow.
Oh, 2015 was a miserable slog. Like Dale Jr. had one of the best years of his career and still sucked.
Yeah, I mean, 2015 was just yeah.
That just shows you how bad it was. Dale Jr. was relevant and a championship threat, having the best season, one of the best seasons ever, and everybody was still miserable because the friggin' season was so bad. Because Xfinity and Cup were almost unwatchable, especially Xfinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you had Kyle Busch running every race.
Yeah, I mean that was back before the whole you can only race 5 Xfinity races if you're a full-time Cup Series driver. So how many races has Ty Gibbs been in this year?
It doesn't apply to drivers in their first 3, apparently.
Oh wow!
It was on first 4. At first 4, you can run however many you want, as long as it's not playoff or dash for cash races.
But why though? Like that's stupid. Like you're
I'm okay with it because some of those guys do get brought up too soon.
Yeah.
Well, not Ty Gibbs apparently.
He's got the talent. He's pretty good.
I really thought he was a threat to win Bristol.
Yeah, there was a point in that race where I was like, wow, he's probably going to win this thing.
Yeah, and then he used up his stuff too quick and just fell off.
To tell you the truth, that Bristol race by Bristol standards was pretty shit, and whoever got out front was going to win because you can't pass.
Yeah.
It was next gen car.
Next gen car at Bristol's not the worst, but compared to what it used to be at Bristol, it's not good. Yeah. And I say that as a guy who went to the race last year, and then I watched that race Saturday night and thought, yeah, that looked just like last year. It's not offensively bad, but it's not Bristol either.
And yet someone calls the track bad for some reason. It's not the track.
Very much Dover. It's kind of mini Dover now, so it's still all right. And it was a compelling enough race, but it was pretty clear whoever gets out front, no matter what the car. Thank God. Okay, Bristol without lap traffic would be the worst race on the calendar.
Probably.
Thank God there was lap traffic Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, at least,
That's the only thing that equalized it.
and also people wasn't blowing right side tires every lap.
Right, and the two different lines was good. That helps,
Yeah.
and the lap traffic helped.
So,
But whoever got out front got a huge lead until they called
Ooh.
traffic.
Black Lives Matter already has a championship hangover for Logano.
Oh boy. Well,
How do you make a video without copying a Wikipedia article? Hey, somebody got that on Wikipedia already?
we're not throwing shade at YouTubers on this show.
Racing reference.
He's not going to see us anyway.
Probably not. But
I don't give a damn if he does.
Well, I do because it's my channel.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
There's a nice
You're
guy's
not
videos.
responsible for what we say.
The opinions of those expressed on Double File are not that of the host.
just put a quick disclaimer over the intro.
And have the playing in the background while
Yeah,
you
if we want to say anything about you, go after us. Don't go after the host.
Come after me. I don't give a shit.
Please don't burn me at the stake for what these two idiots say.
Hey, you calling an idiot?
Oh, you know how it is. Takes one to know one, I guess.
Shut up.
So I think that's about it. We got Texas this week. We got Texas this weekend.
Or text ass, as some people.
We'll all hold hands and get through it together, everybody. Yeah. It's only 400 miles this time. It'll be over quick.
At least they shortened the race,
This will be all over soon.
And a little birdie told me that Texas is getting a spring race next year. So.
Oh, dude.
Please tell me.
They're not getting 2 dates, is what I mean. They're moving it to spring.
So so that begs the question: what's going to take its spot in the playoffs?
North Wilkesboro.
Yeah.
What?
I'd be down with that for sure.
If they fix their short track cars before then, Jesus Christ.
Dude, if it's another race like the All-Star race this year, man, that race
That's
sucked.
exactly what you're going to get if they don't do something. And if they repave it, you're going to get that even worse than it was.
I mean, they need the repave, though.
Yeah, the repave is necessary, but fix the damn car.
It's like it's almost like they need two different short track packages. One for Bristol itself, and then the other for the flat tracks.
Somehow Richmond has been good though.
Richmond's had like a decent couple of races. Like it's had a stinker, yeah, maybe two, but Richmond's watchable at least.
Yeah, probably because of the banking.
It's like Bristol's watchable.
You know what I wanted? You know what I want to see one day is a track that they go backwards intentionally, like they turn right.
Like Tiberion or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be phenomenal.
45 degrees of banking.
Just imagine seeing.
Oh yeah.
Just imagine a Daytona or Talladega race, but they're going the other way.
Wait a minute! I'm getting word that NASCAR's just announced a Monza date for 2024.
Really?
I'm kidding. Kyle Larson's not allowed.
Hey!
Breaking news.
Kyle Larson will not be allowed to participate in Monza. Just like if they go to Mexico City, Kyle Busch can't go. NASCAR is looking at expanding to other countries, starting with Mexico and Canada. Well, that would suck for Kyle Busch.
Is Kyle Busch actually banned from Mexico?
What? No, he got busted in Mexico with a gun or something like that.
Yeah.
Asking if he somehow got banned for that or something.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Oh.
All right, let's go home. I'm tired. I'm going to go watch the Giants get whooped by the 49ers. It's going to be funny to watch. I'll be roasting them on social media all night, guys.
You were such a big baby. Let's go ahead and end the show. Blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. Even though
Well, you tried to
all
wrap
of
up like 10 minutes ago, didn't you?
even though we've been rambling on for about nothing for 15 minutes now.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's a little extra entertainment, don't you think?
Yeah, something like that. Even though people will probably click on the video, see probably the thing about Sherry, and then click off. But
It's still a view.
yeah, it's still a view. But I don't want that. I don't want to use her for views. I don't like that.
Well, let's go, Daddy.
No,
Excuse me?
absolutely not. I'm not. I have one of those die casts. I might bust it with a hammer just because I can.
I'm not getting rid of my Nature's Bakery diecast just because I
What
like
year is your diecast from?
18.
2016.
2016. I was gonna say if it was 2012, you could like recreate the Daytona Dual Rex you had and just smash the front end and say, look, it's a custom diecast of the 2012
I have
Dual
the
Race Rex.
I have that 2012 car, so I mean I might just do that. Then again, I might do the Michigan one.
I have two 2016 Nature's Bakery 124s. One of them has a broken windshield that I broke with a Dale Jr. diecast.
Why
Get the Wonder Woman car and smash it like her 2017 Kansas car.
I mean, I have the 2018 Tommy Baldwin Racing set number 7 car. I might try to make it look like the Daytona 500 wreck that she was in, just for fun because I can. And I don't like her anymore. I don't even know if I ever did like her, but I like her even less.
I never liked her.
Yeah,
I have
Ever,
this,
ever, ever.
and I'm not getting rid of it
she was just
because I think it looks too good,
she was
and
just
it reminds me
rather
of a happier
unlikable.
time.
I think it's the way that she was brought into the sport. Why are we talking about her? Why are
She
we
was a
doing
real
this?
okay. Moral of the story: she was a real CU next Tuesday.
Yeah, man, for sure. And well, thanks guys for tuning in to this episode of Double File. We don't have anything else to talk about, so we're just gonna go ahead and cut the show.
And remember, the field mouse is fast, but the owl sees it not.
Is that a failed
Pretty
attempt at
spooky, ain't
a?
it?
Is that a failed attempt at a Willem Dafoe Green Goblin laugh?
No, that was Ricky Bobby's father-in-law.
Word. Okay. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cut the show. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching this episode. And yeah, go Denny.
Not.
Oh, Larson!
Holla.